resumed.
Hello ladies and gentlemen, welcome back! It's Game 4 between Facebook and National Instruments here with Penguin and Rifkin. We've seen some great play so far and it's not over yet. 2-1 in Facebook's favor. Can Lozzle close it out, or is his opponent going to be able to bring it back for National Instruments? Who's going to be spawning where, Mr. Rifkin?
Well, spawning on the right side of the map, it's going to be the blue Terran Lozzle playing for Facebook.
His opponent is SgtYork, the red Zerg, once again a ZBT. We've seen one of these already. I'm very interested to see if this plays out the same way, but whoa. Actually, already, this is not playing out the same way. We're going to see a 9-pool Rifkin.
Interesting. On a big map like this, this is definitely something you can do to try and catch your opponent off guard. I believe this is Core Hall City, I think, right?
This is Core Hall City,
Yes.
and this is going to work. I think this should work, because if you look at the natural at the main ramp, it's really wide. It takes quite a few buildings to wall that off. At least a supply depot and a barracks, and I think another barracks might not even be enough to wall it off. That might leave one hex left.
This is kind of like a two-player-ish map, so the ramps are extra big, expecting for that double effort to wall it off. And if there's going to be a map where you're going to catch a Terran with his pants down, this is going to be it. Now the problem is, going for a 9-pool, okay, you're going to have some Zerglings out, you're definitely going to be in your opponent's base, but I mean, some proper micro, getting at least a Marine out, whether it's bunkered or not, is irrelevant. You can hold this off. This is not going to be down and out for our Terran player.
This isn't an all-in, though. A pool at 9 or 10 or 11 supply for Zerg versus Terran. This is really to delay the expansion of Lozzle. He'll get the Queen out earlier. He'll be able to make up for the lost, for the sacrificed economy quite nicely with the extra Queen, with the earlier Queen, rather. And he will be behind if Lozzle holds it off without any losses, but if he's able to get in here and do a little bit of damage, he may well end up very far ahead. He'll probably take an in-base expansion very, very quickly. And
yeah, this is one of those things where
go the right way. Ooh, he may see the Lings coming across.
Yeah, this is one of those things where if Lozzle decided to go CC first, he would be in so much trouble right now. But there he is. He does scout the Zerglings. He confirms their existence, and he's trying to crank the Marine out.
Oh no, he's only getting.
Can he get this wall off? It's going to be so close.
I don't think he is.
No, the Zerglings get in. All right, now there is this one Marine. Can he get surrounded?
Line.
Yeah, he's got to get surrounded by these SCVs.
One SCV goes down. And there are more Zerglings on the way, 2 more, and they will be able to get in. He does deny that engineering bay, takes down the SCV building that. I don't know if this is enough SCVs to shield that Marine.
Yeah, well, if they can get a surround off for a little bit, do what they can, but I mean, Lozzle is just not looking like he's going to be in too good a position here.
Oh, he's getting the supply depot Rifkin. He's going to supply block his opponent so hard.
Oh no, Penguin, I don't see this could be one of the quicker games we've seen in the After Hours Gaming League here, folks. But okay, he does.
Marine is getting surrounded very nicely.
He's got 2 Marines now too, and the Zerglings are distracted with the SCVs. Actually, these Marines are not. Ooh, okay, one does go down, but now there's only 5 Zerglings left. There's no longer that huge, massive number. This bunker's coming up. We got a Marine trying to come out, but of course, as you said, he is supply blocked.
The problem here is that SgtYork has an expansion coming up. He's droning. He's got almost 25 supply, and he's continuing to pick away at these guys. Another SCV goes down. There's 2 in the red. He's going to go for the supply depot again, denying that, although he is unsupply blocked. But this is looking so bad for Lozzle.
Yeah, and the thing is, Lozzle, even if he recovers out of this, as you said, he's going to be behind for pretty much the entirety of the rest of the game. Unless he does something ridiculous, like go for 4 CCs, 5 CCs even, just to make up for the economy lost, 2 will not cut it, especially with your Zerg going for an expansion behind this.
How many workers has he killed, Rifkin? 6. Now, that doesn't seem like that much, but these SCVs have been off the mineral line for the majority of this game. Oh no, he's going to get another one. Oh, no, he doesn't. He doesn't focus it. Oh.
Yeah, and the other thing too is you got to remember, because he was supply blocked for so long, the SCV production was forcefully cut. So the SCVs he was losing were not getting remade.
23 to 13 is the harvester count right now, Rifkin.
And boldly scouting out. I mean, look at this. He's going to a base with an SCV, and this SCV is so valuable right now as he is lacking them.
Yeah, this is the guy. I think he was. No, he wasn't already on the map because he pulled the SCV that was scouting back. He will get out with his life, so it's not the. It's not going to be too big a loss. Just a bit of mining time lost. And he does confirm that SgtYork is not going for like a 1-base Baneling Bust or something behind this, which could actually be very devastating.
Yeah, I'm not sure if that was brave, bold, or silly. Either way, he did get out with that SCV. It's got to make it feel that much better. And ooh, double gas coming up behind this Penguin with the command center on the way. I don't know. His economy's kind of in the gutter already.
Yeah, this is generally, looking at the timing of the command center, this is when you want to be getting the gases, but he just doesn't have the SCVs to be able to support them, really. We'll see. He's putting 3 into each gas as well. How many does that leave on minerals? That leaves not very many on minerals is the actual number.
9.
At least like
You
9
can see
on
it above the
minerals.
command
9
center.
on minerals. Yeah.
That
Of
awesome
course.
Heart of the Swarm function, for those who don't know. This is not available in Wings of Liberty, and everyone wishes it was.
Now, the expansion is going to be coming up for Lozzle. The mules from that will help quite a bit once the orbital is done. And he's done his best to stabilize, but as we've emphasized so many times already, he's down 35 to 19 in harvesters. He's going to get a factory up right now, and he's going to need a 3rd CC pretty soon to be able to come back from this. He is going to add on 2 barracks and a factory, though, so it looks like he may go for a 2-base push, trying to even out the score a little bit. But looking back at SgtYork's base, he's more than halfway
4
done this layer.
gas. You know what this means,
Speed.
Penguin.
I think this may well be Mutalisks. I'm not 100% sure. This could be Infestors.
I would
but
no, I would put straight money on Mutalisk after seeing how much damage he's done to his opponent. I mean, he crippled Lozzle so badly. It would be silly for him, I feel, to at least not get a few Mutalisks out. I'm not on busy. I should be. Let me fix that real quick. Ugh.
Ooh, Roaches and Mutalisks. This is going to be nice. The Roaches will allow him to survive against something like Hellions. Maybe they're pretty good against Hellbats as well. And, of course, the Spire, as you said, going to allow him to do even more damage. He's already quite far ahead. It looks like we are going to be seeing Hellion production coming out of SgtYork. Out of Lozzle, rather. But with Tech Labs coming down, this looks like it could be a Stim Combat Shields timing with a Marine Marauder Hellion. This could be pretty deadly, actually, if it hits well. But at the same time, if he doesn't have the number of Marines, the Mutalisks are just going to ravage that composition.
Yeah, I kind of feel like Stim's going to hit at just that little bit too late moment where Mutalisk will already be in the base and Stim will be just barely complete but not in time to save the Marines. Now, think about having the Hellions out. I mean, they're not battle Hellions, but they've got the speed, they got the mobility. You see them kiting around these Zerglings a little bit right now, but they're keeping SgtYork from getting into his base. I mean, I don't think he would throw these Zerglings away at the wall off, but ooh, actually, they're suddenly getting quite a few kills.
Nicely done. Pretty nice micro there from Lozzle. He needs all the nice little wins he can get at this point. And we are actually seeing only Marines produced out of these barracks, so it's not going to be Marine Marauder Hellion, it's going to be Marine Hellion here. With, I assume, combat shields. He's not getting the upgrade quite yet, but he does have that 2nd tech lab, and it doesn't really make much sense to me to have that if he's not going to be going for it. 1-1 on the way, though. So
Yeah.
this is going to be
and
heavy upgrades.
Yeah, again, that 2nd tech lab, no Marauders and no combat shield. Interesting. But 2 Hellions are going to make their way into the base here, trying to do what they can with our Queens to thwart them, so these drones might take a little bit of damage, but I don't think SgtYork needs to really be that worried. He's got to be careful with this, though.
He is
Now,
taking
ooh,
quite
the
a bit of damage.
Mutalisks are revealed, though, unfortunately, in doing so. Will we see missile turrets go up? He's good. Yep, immediately throwing down missile turrets. Good job to Mr. Lozzle, because you're going to have the hardest time holding off Mutalisks without any addition of missile turrets. Sure, Marines are nice, but, you know, they don't protect the line the same way a missile turret does.
This is like that moment where Lozzle's just going to be so happy he did not decide to go for Marauders. Oh, perfect timing on the missile turrets as well, finishing right when the Mutalisks fly on in. Doesn't lose any, so they will regenerate pretty quickly. But Lozzle's got to be feeling pretty good about himself with the
well, the really nice thing about
Marauders. But look at the supply block, Rifkin. He's only just now starting depots.
The really nice thing about this, though, I mean, like, well, the supply difference in general is heavily in SgtYork's favor. But the thing about having these Mutalisks out is, while he will not be able to get in and do, I think, as much devastating damage as he wanted to do, this prevents Lozzle from getting medevacs, or at least effective use of medevacs. If he tries to go medevacs behind this and go for a drop, he's going to just lose it.
Yeah, of course, the speed boost, the Ignite Afterburners do speed the medevacs up to faster than the Hellion, faster than the Mutalisks, but not for long enough that they can outrun the Mutalisks effectively. A couple of SCVs going down in the natural here. Muta's doing pretty nicely.
Yes, a very nice harass.
Yeah, he's getting out with all of them alive, and they will regenerate very, very quickly. Meanwhile, there's a 3rd base up Infestation Pit on the way, and a lot of drones going down to that 3rd. 8 more in production, so nice little, nice continuation of the game coming out from SgtYork. Going for ranged upgrades as well, so he is going to go into Roaches, 7 now in production. And with the ranged upgrades, I wouldn't be surprised to see him throw down a Hydralisk den soon.
Yeah, Hydralisks definitely have been making an appearance, not just in Heart of the Swarm, but in Wings of Liberty as more and more effective units. And I think a lot of that has to do with the way the Infestors have been tweaked a little bit. Now, he's going to have Infestors on the field, Passenger Glands nearing completion, and you're going to need Fungal Growths to help deal with this. There's no question about it. But the problem is there's medevacs.
Sorry about that. We have a massive move out here from Lozzle. He's coming with everything he's got, Marines, Hellions, and as you said, it's going to be hard to deal with without the Fungals. I think the numbers may just be too much for Lozzle to deal with right now, but the Stim Marine's going to be able to do quite well, trading quite efficiently, focusing down the Mutalisks. Just really nice trading coming out from Lozzle.
Wow.
Even if he doesn't miss this push.
that last medevac stands with 6 health, but he does take out all the Mutalisks in exchange for that. So, I mean, Lozzle doing a nice bit of aggression. I like that he's not turtling up and kind of recognize that if he does, he's going to fall further and further behind, but I don't know that he's doing as much damage as he wants to.
Oh, this is actually a... Overall, he hasn't done economic damage really just yet, even though he does have a drop in the main now, but he's traded so efficiently with these units. Gets a queen there, but he's killed off 9 Mutalisks. That's 900 gas for the cost of like 1 medevac, maybe like 15 Marines and a couple Hellions. It's trading minerals for gas, essentially, and quite a bit of it. So, very nice trade there by Lozzle. A little win to help him get back into this game. He doesn't have a 3rd CC on the way yet, though. He's continuing to play on 2 base.
Yeah, I mean, right now, the thing is, he's constantly got this nice, like, this mid-sized Terran ball with the Hellbats, with the Marines, the support. This will do a lot of damage for a time. Once these Infestors are out, once Fungal Growths start entering the fray and Infested Terrans and what have you, this small force, he's going to need bigger amounts and split forces, you know, drops going off while he hits the main to really do game-ending amounts of damage.
He does have another force moving in. This time it does have Hellbats with it, so they will be able to do quite a bit of nice splash damage if they get into the main, as well as to the Roaches.
He did actually have Hellbats in that first push, but they were taken out rather quickly by the Roaches, not wanting to ignore them.
Did he not have Hellions? Oh,
nice Fungal! Oh,
But
beautifully recoding them.
Taken out. The Fungals are really nice, but with the Infestors going down, this is not as cost efficient as it could have been for SgtYork. Either way, Lozzle coming out on the bad end of that trade.
And I'm surprised we don't see an Infested Terran or two trying to finish off these medevacs that are just kind of hanging out. No, actually going for another Fungal instead. Queen's coming to clean this up.
But one will get away. The one who got away.
Ooh, now there is a medevac that is trying to be sneaky, but the Zergling with the Watchtower did scout that. I really hope SgtYork does not forget about it, because it's kind of taking the most obscure route around the map right now, Penguin.
Yeah, it's going to be going down behind the 3rd, probably dropping at that 3rd. It is queued up to drop there. It's going to be dropping right next to Spine and the Spore, though, so he could well lose that if he's not careful. He does have a 3rd command center on the way, though, and he's going to be finishing that up, going to be expanding to that 3rd, hopefully pretty soon for him. But we do have a hive on the way now for SgtYork, and this is going to make things even more difficult for Lozzle, especially if he gets those Ultralisks out. Ultralisks are so good right now.
And it's 1-1 right now, but +2 ranged weapons are about to kick in, and these Roaches are going to do that much more damage, Penguin.
Yeah, we also have 5 Mutalisks out here. That's going to be just enough to help deal with these medevacs. Really nice decision for SgtYork to go for just a couple of those Mutalisks. With Siege Tanks out, though, I don't know if these Roaches can break it. They are going to try to push. +2 is not yet done, and they will be taking quite a bit of damage, and they will be forced back.
Yeah, I'd like to see the
split his units. Fungal could be pretty devastating.
Ooh, not a good Fungal, though. Mutalisks now do move in for the tank, because the Marines are distracted with the Roaches, and SgtYork actually starting to clean this up quite nicely.
Lozzle, actually, look at the supply. Lozzle's significantly closer than he was a second ago. Oh, there we go. 21 Roaches in production, though. But a lot of this supply is Roach heavy. This is not supply efficient. This is not like it's Mutalisks and Lings and stuff. This is pretty supply heavy Roaches, so as long as Lozzle's able to get up to a nice army count, the Roaches are going to be
drops coming in at the 3rd and the main Penguin. Sorry to cut you off. As the medevac did go down, he will clean up this 3rd base, but there's nothing at the main. He actually loses his gas immediately. Overlord form kind of just floating around right now, and he's going to try and pick off some of these workers. He will, of course, be forced to lift up and leave as Roaches are on the way, but I mean, Roaches can't hit medevacs. He will safely get out of here if he wants to, but no, he's just going to go for it.
Oh, Mutalisk's coming in as well. If he doesn't use the afterburners, oh, that's going to die.
Yeah, it's already too late. Yeah, he can afterburner, but it won't last long enough to get away. So unfortunately, this drop will get cleaned up. But I mean, Lozzle's doing great. He was in a position in this game where he should have been on the defense all game. There should have just been constant Zerglings flooding into his base, keeping him at home. But that's not been what's happening.
We do have a greater Spire nearing completion, though, and Lozzle, he's playing from behind. He's doing a very good job playing from behind. He's staying in this game. He's staying stable. He's staying alive. He has a 3rd base coming up right now, but he just doesn't have the tech to deal with this. He's got +1 air weapons on the way, which is going to be pretty nice, but we're talking about Roach. Roaches are 3-3, which are pretty damn strong, and they're going to be supporting Broodlords.
Actually, I kind of like this. Yeah, with all the Roaches on the field, he's been producing a lot of Marauders and tanks to deal with that, and not so much Marines. And Broodlords, they don't give a good gosh darn about either of those units. It's only the Marines that are scary.
That's true. I mean, even a couple of Mutalisks are going to go down for free, losing all 4 of those. And once again, Lozzle needs every little nice trade he can get. That was a very nice one. 400 for free. He's moving out with this pretty scary army, and before those Broodlords are out, these Marauders are going to be very strong until they're out.
Yeah, and Overseer goes down too, actually supply blocking SgtYork, so this is not looking too good for him. Now these tanks are not sieged right now.
engaged. Fungal going down beautifully. And
really nice
man,
catch for SgtYork.
Here, this is going to be painful for Lozzle. The supply is once again pretty even, but looking at the bank and the number of larvae, he's going to be able to produce about 18 supply.
But let's take a look at this, Penguin. The resources lost tab right now is just about even. And this is talking about someone who was just down and out almost from minute 1 of the game.
You might want to look again, Rifkin. He just lost about 6 medevacs.
Yeah, okay. It was even for a little bit.
It was. I mean, the other thing to think about is that even trades are not good enough for Lozzle right now. He needs to be trading in his favor since he's been behind the whole game. He's still behind. He's doing really well. I'm actually really pleased with the way he's playing. It's very entertaining to watch. He's definitely not down and out, but he needs to trade better than he has been. The first trade was great. Second trade was mediocre. Third trade, not so great.
Yeah, both players have a ton of idle workers right now, Penguin, in their mains, as they are both mined out and have just been kind of chilling there for a while.
Yeah, the problem is that SgtYork actually doesn't have a 4th base yet, and as a Zerg, you do want to get that 4th base up, especially given how long he's been on that 3 base.
Yeah, it's coming down now, but as you said, it's a little delayed. The creep spread is also kind of non-existent, but we've got Broodlords on the map, Penguin, and this is gonna, as he starts building them up, this is gonna get scarier and scarier for Lozzle.
3 more on the way. This is going to give him up to 6 Broodlords. That's really where it starts to get very scary. There's really not that much anti-air. There's a lot of Marines, but if he fungals the Marines, they're not going to be able to get under the Broods.
Yeah, I'd really like to see him start incorporating some new things, either whether it's Ravens for Secret Missiles or the Widow Mine, something for splash damage, because Lozzle has only just now, for the first time in about 23 minutes, put some overseers with his army. And I mean, a couple of Widow Mines at any point prior to this actually could have changed the tide of the battle entirely in Lozzle's favor.
I want to point out something that I just saw, which is pretty shocking. Lozzle has more workers.
That blows my mind. Yeah, 74 to 70. I don't know how he pulled that off, but this is
SgtYork nearing max. Lozzle moving out of the map. This time he gets the preemptive siege up. He's
Ooh,
gonna be able to deal with this,
sieging.
but the Broodlings causing a lot of splash damage to go down. The Roaches are not going to trade well against these tanks, though, in the back. And the Marines trying to focus down the Broodlords. They're not doing all that well. The Queens with them are transfusing. The Queens are all now dead. A couple of these infestors doing their best. But it looks like Lozzle is microing his heart out, and he's still alive. I don't know.
But these Marines are almost dead. The tanks are killing the Marines faster than the Broodlords are with that splash damage, Penguin.
Either way, though, I think this is still a cost-efficient trade for Lozzle. He's absolutely traded cost-efficiently. The problem is that the Broodlords are still alive, but only one infestor still survives. He needs to unsiege those tanks and go home.
I don't think the siege tanks could even unsiege fast enough at this point. The Corruptor is still standing. This Viking will not be a threat. And we see SgtYork just kind of creeping across the map. Now, I'm surprised he's not reinforcing this with like 100 million Zerglings, but that's okay, because Roaches are in fact the follow-up.
He's going to continue with the Roach support. I like that decision because of the upgrades, but you're right. Lanes would have been very helpful right now, especially since Lozzle can't really siege up. But, well, we have Vikings on the way. There's really not that much anti-air here for SgtYork, and we actually see Lozzle doing really well with these Vikings, trying to pick up the last Corruptors. Broodlords are going to slowly start taking a bit of damage.
Yeah, now there's no anti-air, period. Only the Infestor if it wants to come in. It is just kind of hiding, though.
The Vikings are doing really well. They're picking off these Broodlords one at a time. They're actually, none of them have died yet, but one of them is about to. Down it goes. That Fungal will kill one Viking, but there's not enough to really finish it off. There's one Corruptor, but it takes a couple of free shots here, and Lozzle continuing to produce 4 Vikings at a time. He should be able to stabilize here. The question is whether or not he's going to be able to actually survive without incurring too much damage.
Yeah, it's hard to be critical of these players in these big trades back and forth. You know, a lot's going on and you're not thinking. But the one thing I would like to criticize about SgtYork is we haven't seen him use Infested Terrans to take out anti-air. Or for the use of anti-air all game. And I mean, a couple Infested Terrans could have killed so many medevacs early on. It could have helped deal with these Vikings now. But instead, we've got these sort of idle infestors just waiting to fungal. And fungal's not the best way to deal with Vikings.
No, it is when they're in very big numbers, but they're not right now. There's only 4 of them out. A bunch more did just spawn, but
we have Lozzle taking a 4th base, or sorry, 4th base at a very sneaky location.
I like this from him a lot. I mean, he's stabilized. SgtYork doesn't have enough to push into his base. He's not really in danger of dying right now because the Roaches are going to take a lot of damage from those siege tanks, especially with +2 on the way now. And he's got enough Vikings to hold the air, and Lozzle miraculously defended that push very, very convincingly, and SgtYork is really...
Yeah, Penguin, I'm really not a fan of him sticking with his Broodlord tech. He's going for the air armor as well to go with this, but he doesn't have any melee upgrades, and the Broodlings are the powerhouse of the Broodlord, not the actual Broodlord itself.
The problem with this here is that the Roach support is very, very nice in the mid-game, but you want to, in the late game, be able to switch up your tech. You want to have, like, Broodlords go in, attack. When they die, you don't want to remax on Broodlords, because that takes a long, long time to get up. You want to be able to remax on Lings, Ultralisks, stuff like that. And as you said, those are not useful right now, because he doesn't have the melee upgrades, and he hasn't even started them. I don't even have a, like, even if he had just gone +3 air,
Penguin.
ranged attacks.
Look at the left side of the map. Oh my goodness.
Oh, look at that.
Big drop, though. It's actually
going
getting cleaned up very nicely. All the roaches are here to respond just on time. The corruptors take out the medevacs, and Lozzle, again, finding himself at the, I guess, bad end of trade.
Trades have really been going back and forth. Some of them have been going in Lozzle's favor quite heavily, like that last engagement. Some of them have been going in York's favor. And after all, this is, considering how much of a lead SgtYork had at the beginning of this game, this has become a very back-and-forth game, and Lozzle has definitely been able to even it up quite a bit. He's still down in upgrades, but by the time they get to 3-3, which is going to be pretty soon, this +3 armor is the last thing to come in, they're going to be dead even, and there's not really going to be any more of a major advantage for York.
Well, Vikings are going to start trying to take down these corruptors, but Penguin corruptors are so darn strong. Vikings are just so hard to use against them in this amount of numbers effectively. Roaches going down, Fungals covering the entire Terran army.
But the problem here is that the roaches are so supply inefficient. This army may be big in supply, but the supply is so inefficient that York is still able to trade okay, even with those big-ass Fungals.
You can claim efficient versus inefficient, but the reality is SgtYork came out with a lot more units than Lozzle came out with. And at the end of the day, I think that's all that really matters.
I don't know. I mean, looking back at this, there's a lot of Marauders here. There's a couple of tanks moving forward. I don't like his decision to move out, though. SgtYork actually has a lot in Corruptors. I think he may have too much in Corruptors almost.
Well, the good thing about Corruptors is, of course, you can just quickly turn them into Broodlords. Now, we've got +3 flyer attacks on the way here, and again, I don't know that I favor him going for these air upgrades over the melee upgrades at this point.
Oh, we actually have another attack coming in from Lozzle, and this is forcing SgtYork to turn around. He's going to be able to pick up the third by the looks of it if he focuses it down, and he is going to do it. SgtYork will get a nice little pick off of this entire army, but this has been very nice for Lozzle, not only picking off that third, but more importantly, forcing SgtYork's army to turn around.
I would agree that it would be effective for him to pick up that base if there weren't 3 on the entire left side of the map.
No, Rifkin, the big thing isn't that he picked off the base. The big thing is that he forced this army to turn around. He was on the brink of dying. He had not enough to defend, and attacking that third forced SgtYork to turn around and give up his really nice attacking position. And now Lozzle has enough areas, enough tanks, he has enough Marauders to potentially hold this push.
I don't know. The Viking count is not very good against the Corruptors that are remaining.
He also just turned a lot of the Corruptors into Broodlords. While that does mean he has a huge Broodlord number once he brings these in, he doesn't have as much anti-air as he needs. The Vikings do have upgrades.
Oh, and they get caught with the Fungal as well.
Maybe enough to totally shut those down. It looks like SgtYork may be able to push through here and finally claim this game.
Yeah, it's been a long fight for him. From what started as a 9-pool, guys, turned into one of the longer games we've cast on the After Hours Gaming League, and this is looking worse and worse for Lozzle. I would love for him to pull a miracle and turn this around, but I just...
on the SDVs, Rifkin. Oh, God. Only one of them, though.
I just don't know that he can do this, Penguin. He's master preparing.
Lozzle has played a phenomenal game, playing from behind all games, stabilizing, doing really well. But SgtYork finally claiming well, actually, this is the second win that the Terran will not have won versus another race. Looks like today is the day of changes.
Yeah, week 4 is a bad luck week. It's pretty much what it comes down to.
For the Terrans, at least. Very true. But you know what? This is actually good luck. You know why, Rifkin? This means we're going to see a Game 5.
Yeah, so we'll have to see who they want to pull out next. Very exciting stuff. GG, finally, from Lozzle. A secret missile coming out at the very end, but no, it doesn't even get to connect! We see it hovering here midair.
And we'll see you in the last game. Of course, remember that for the ace match, these players can use players that they have already used, so I'm very interested to see whether they pull out 2 of their winners. Who will be playing Rifkin? We'll find out soon.